Okay, I think it's 2:22. I have not been able to sleep good at all last night. And I think that bomb cyclone, I'm not sure what the hell if it somehow here was the night before because the night before, I don't know, it's supposed to get worse today too, I guess, but the wind thing, it seems like all the videos I've seen so far are by Seattle, like Bellevue, which is like Seattle is one of those metropolises, so it's like all these places kind of connected. Tacoma, which is on the other side, it's right on the coastline too, but it's further down. And I haven't seen about Olympia, so along the coastline there. And then I had seen, or the islands were that of people going out and watching for the storm, but I haven't seen the damage from the storm. But the trees were falling on houses, falling, a tree fell on a bus, huge fucking trees. And so anyways, it's a huge disaster zone. It hasn't even been daylight yet. So, but so far it's a big disaster. And in Northern California, so it goes the whole way down. I just saw Deron live though in LA, and he's just walking around fine. It's not even raining, nothing. So, in LA, there was nothing happening right now. And I had heard earlier in the night that it was going to get like 3 inches real quick. It was going to be super bad or something. So I don't know. Maybe it rained and all went in the sewage. But right now, there's nothing. And in Northern California, up by, where was it? Up by Weed or something outside of Mount Shasta. It's a blizzard and the roads are shut down. And so it's full of people and they're all shut down in a blizzard up on the thing. The I'm not sure about Vancouver because it was supposed to head all the way from Vancouver all the way down the whole coast. And it's supposed to be, I guess part of it hit yesterday, but more's coming. So in the weather system thing, it looks like it's so weird. Because why don't they just all call them just storm, water storm or something? Why some are cyclone, some are typhoon, some are hurricane? Like, I don't even understand this place sometimes. But so and then somebody said it has to do with the wind speed or something. Well, the whole time we're watching for hurricanes over there, it's a tropical storm. It's like, why isn't everything just a tropical storm? And then there's different levels of how bad it becomes. It's like, I swear to God, some of the stuff that they do just it makes no sense. And which oh man, I'm having a hard time catching my breath today. Everything seems so intense. Like, fuck. I had another meltdown in the dogs in the middle of the fucking night. Or, no, yeah, I guess it's the middle of the night, like around 11:30 or something. Just nonstop wanting to eat. Oh my God, I can't even believe it. It's nonstop. Every time I get up, run to the kitchen, let's eat. And she'll have a fit about it. And then she'll pout. Right now she's pouting at me because I wouldn't feed him again. Now, we got up at 1:30. I got up at 1:30. I can never just get up my own self. And then all of them drunk. It's always, she comes in, she's the bully in the kitchen around me. And they are the audience who sit there waiting for like they know what goes down. And I was like, man, it is a whole thing. Because I feel like her being my spirit animal is like her personality can devour me, like she's devoured me before. And so I feel like it's a part of my growth or something to stand up and say, no, you can't just fucking eat every 2 hours. And she's got a huge, one of her things has just gotten huge, just all of a sudden. And it's got to be the toxins. It's got to be like swollen lymph and stuff, these cyst things. And so last night, and the one meal, I put oregano oil and black seed oil. The black seed oil came because I'm like asking the question, what do I do? I keep trying all these things. What do I do? And black seed oil came. So we'll see. See how effective that is. Maybe it is a lot of mucus or something in those, because mucus comes from all of this stuff. Like there's so much mucus when your body is trying to fight something, it becomes very mucusy. And so drying the mucus out, like I swear to God, that has helped with my eyes. But there's also a whole thing about the copper, the iron, all those things that your eye, that's the reason why people's vision starts going bad. And the floaters are parasites and stuff. Like I've been fucking saying that since I'm a goddamn kid. And I said it so much when I started having eye problems. And it's like, you can see it's bugs in your eye. Like, what are you talking about? Just random floaters. And yeah, everything they tell us is so fucking absurd. I swear to God. But anyways, so Harris County's in trouble now. Thank God. This is fucking time. And once Harris County gets on the chopping block, and I think a lot more people are going to start saying like, this is wrong. So, because they were, just dogs, so many. Like there, like I said, I don't know if it was a couple hundred a day or a couple hundred a week, but it's extreme. And it's like, I think they do it 3 times a week or something. Maybe they do it every day. That's another thing that seems to be strange. And another thing that is strange about it is, so you're going to pay somebody to come in and do all this instead of just upgrading the facility, upgrading, like, how does that make sense? In a society where it is based on love and support and trying to help and stuff, that's like the opposite. So, and then plus they obviously hire psychopaths. Like something's wrong with some of these people who do this. Like I mean, I guess luckily for our society, they're doing it to animals and not to humans. Because there's another woman who's on the run who was going and she wasn't even adopting them. She's just taking them out for the day and then not returning them. And then they're being found unalived by her. And so she is a dog serial killer. So they're on the hunt for this lady. I've seen her picture posted out. And just looks like a regular person. But people get their needs and stuff so wrapped up in their lives, become so small. So just this thing. That is a big problem. You've got to make your thing bigger, bigger, bigger. So, and all this is horrific. This is so horrible. I can't even believe it. Let me see. Did I finish? So Harris County, they're in trouble. They made it on the news. Now the news that had them, now they're going, it's like they're having to go before a committee or something. Like the county wants them to come in and show a bunch of stuff. And I don't know. I think they're going to get closed down. But all of our communities, they've got to do something better. We got to see what the problem is and not just turn a blind eye and let them do whatever they want. Because that's going to turn around and kick people in the ass, because it's going to go right back into the food supply. So that's, that's going to be a repercussion of this kind of stuff. But this is horrific. I just saw this video and it was just like, fuck, my brain's too full. This one is, so this guy's in Georgia, and this also happened in Idaho. So I have like a reference to this but it wasn't as in depth, but it was like after the annihilation thing happened, then there was the talk of, what the family had been going through and stuff. So it was, I think the mom was already, I don't know where the mom was, if she died or she left them or whatever. It was a dad and 2 sons, and the grandparents were involved. And then it seems like there was some other people or whatever. The one teenage son had mental problems and was dangerous. And the family wasn't getting any help. And then the crazy son ended up taking out the dad and the son with a machete. And it was really sad too, because the son, who was like 11, might have been like 15 and 13, or it was like 13 and 11 or something like that. It was like the one son was hiding under the bed, he was trying to hide from him. It was just super sad. But the family was talking about like they were trying to get help for him and they weren't getting any. So now he's in prison. I think probably in mental. Probably they'll let him out next week or something. He's only been in there a couple years. I'm not sure when it happened because I can't even believe when I was putting together time yesterday, I was like, what the hell? I have been here 6 years. I've been here because 2019, I moved here in March. So if you count 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 7 fucking years? No. Did I do that right? This is just keeps blowing my mind. It's like, what happened to, this is so trippy. I think it got me going on this as like the 2017 thing. Sometimes when I put together the time, it's like in the healing thing, like how long it's been going since my brain injury, all of it. It's just like, but how much time I've spent here alone is, it's crazy. So 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24. Okay, 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. I was thinking, did I count my thumb? Because it was 7 years was, okay, so 6 years. So this will be my 7th year. That is so weird. And I've spent so much of it in here. Like, I mean, because quarantine started. And then once that started, and I started saying things different, then it was, like I got kicked off next door. And that is like, and when you're living rural, there's some Facebook group too, but it's like, I'm not going to go on Facebook. And it's not the same as the next door group. The next door group has a lot more stuff going on, but there is a Facebook group. It seems like it's like a bunch of moms and stuff. It's like, I just want to know like what's going on around. And so it's always felt to me like I'm not part of the community, really. I just kind of stay in here. I had the one friend, but then when she wanted to do a weird thing about starving people and like that whole weird thing of, well, if you don't know, because when I talked about it, so she had a little farm and I met her when I would go get fresh eggs and get fresh vegetables, and we became friends. And then as things started getting more hairy, she started wanting to do a food alliance thing. And, or I couldn't, she wasn't going to give me food anymore. Or I had to, it was weird. It was like, to me, it's so weird because she was so religious too. It's just food, like hoarding or something. But I was expected, if I got any food from them, I was in an alliance. So when all the rest of the people were starving, I wasn't allowed to give them any food. And I wasn't allowed to give the neighbors any food or her little kids. And I was like, I have my own food I can give them. I'm not going to watch somebody starve. What are you, crazy? And she said, no, you can't. If you're in a food alliance, you can't do that. It's like you're supposed to pretend you don't have food. I'm not one of those people. Like when I watch movies and I see those kind of people, it creep me out. Like they got a candy bar, they're hiding it from everybody else, is starving. It's like, no, I'm not one of those people. And so anyways, and then Stella got sick, and she thought I should put her down. Look at how far we've come. Like, and so I just was focused on Stella. Like I'm driving, out of the thing, and I've had grandkids. Like I've had other things going on, and but never really formed any. Like I know people, like I know the neighbors and stuff, but I don't hang out with them. I don't. One neighbor lady, she asked me to babysit again, and this is another thing that's hard too, is because I remember being a young mom and needing help and not ever being able to find anybody to help me. Like, because my mom, whenever I would try and ask her, she was always busy. She was busy with homeschool with my little sister. They were busy. And so I would have to take my little kids everywhere with me, like to the grocery store, everything. And they would be so naughty, even at the doctor's office, which, I swear to God, that was my life during that period of time too. It's so crazy how when you're not dealing with stuff, you get sicker, physically sicker. So it's like you are made to deal with stuff, but you're just not dealing with it right. Like it can be a lot more productive. Western takes us in the wrong direction. But anyways, but I had some humiliating situations at the doctor's office where like the nurse practitioner would tell my kids they better mind and sit down and be quiet and act like I didn't know how to parent and stuff. Well, I guess I didn't because I don't know. I'm just not that kind of parent. And so anyways, let me think, because it seemed like there was other thing I was saying about that. But I'm going to go back to this other thing. So in Idaho, I knew about that situation where the parents were like, there wasn't help. And so this is going on right now, and this is in Georgia. And the dad is young, and I would say, I don't know, probably not 40 yet. And he definitely has another son. I think he said he had 4 kids, and this is the one kid. And he is, right now, he is in a facility, but they are forcing him to pick him up today. And it's a whole thing if you don't pick up your kid. It's a whole abandonment thing. And they'll make charges and stuff on you. And then they can send their little CPS over there and say their other kids aren't safe. Like, it's so fucking bullshit, man. I swear to God, I cannot fucking... And it's going on in North Carolina. They're going and taking people... It is... Oh my God. And they're fucking taking, like, people have all this land, like, where their stuff have value. They're not giving the people anything. When they took my house, when I lived in Washington State, well, I still live in Washington State, when I lived in over by Spokane, and we had moved in on, we bought this house. We went and bought this house. It was like, I talked about this before. When we moved there, all the houses were like $20,000. And so we had cash. We were going to buy a house straight out. And we were leaving from California. So where houses were 300, 400,000. And so we were coming up there where it was going to be $20,000. You could buy a house. And there was houses even cheaper than that. And it didn't matter if it was a fixer-upper or older or whatever, because my husband was construction, so he was going to do the work anyways. So we started going and looking for houses. We're staying at his brother's, and we're thinking, oh, we got cash. We're going to be in a house like in the first week. Nope. We started going and looking every day, all day, and they wouldn't show us any houses. And they would tell us we had to go and drive by. And then as soon as we would get there and we'd call them and say, we're interested, we want to see it, they would say, oh, it already sold. This is when I talked about that I saw the LLCs. They kept saying investors. That's what they call them, investors. Investors are buying them. So the investors don't have to drive by them, but the people who want to live in them, they got to drive by them, or you're not allowed to see them. So, and then... it was nonsense. I couldn't fucking believe it. I was bawling my head. It was horrible. And so we go to look at one, and we go to it, and it's on a Sunday, and this guy's there working on it. And it was his house, and so he sold it to us on contract. So we just owed him, and then we had like 6 years to pay it or something. But the house was way more than what we wanted, and was on more property. And it was 60,000 or something. And so my husband was pretty overwhelmed and stuff. So we got this house, and it had so much stuff that he had to do. And it had been a rental for a long time. So there was tons of stuff. Like when we ripped out the car, it was just all pee and poop and ugh. And so because I think they have to let their dogs go around. But the one thing that was kind of cool is once we got all of that up, the damage to the urine, to the hardwood, it made it this really pretty color. And so when we had done all that, we had this really pretty dark wooden floor. It was really, really pretty. It was a lot of people compliment. It was hardwood too. So he just had to sand off the top part. But I don't know, because it was bare for so long, and I don't know, soaking in whatever off the floors. I'm not sure. So anyways, they ended up being okay. But so when we moved into that place, the And then we found out once the traffic day started on Monday that it was a fucking thoroughfare, and it was supposed to be 45 miles an hour. But you get out on those rural highways like that, and people go 65, 70 miles an hour. And ours was on Bigelow Gulch, and if you can look up Bigelow Gulch and the accidents, and so it's very twisty and turny. But since it's in the mountains and it doesn't get sun all day, there's patches of ice. So people wreck all the time. And so it was like, fuck. And then there was a whole weird thing about the bus, which it was a cool little schoolhouse. The kids, the little schoolhouse was like 60 kids. It was like private school. And I was really involved at the school and stuff. Like, that was cool. There was some cool stuff. And then, but the bus couldn't stop right there because right in front of my house, it had to stop across the street. So we had to cross this danger street for my kids. That I would go out with them obviously and take them across. But we're just standing on the side of the road waiting for all these cars to be going so we could get across and stuff. It was crazy, and I think that we had to try some different things. I don't even remember. I think it was safer for me to drive them, but there was wrecks all the time. People would wreck right into our driveway because right when you came around the corner, there was a fucking stop. There was a turn. And so people would come around the corner at the curve, and then they would stop to turn, and then the people would be speeding and not know that they were stopped, and there would be these fucking wrecks all the time. And so people started wrecking into our yard. So then my husband built this big gate across our driveway to protect the kids. Like if somebody came, it was fucking like a fortress, so that if anybody wrecked in our driveway, they couldn't just like come up, and as it was scary. And we had a stream that went across, and so we built a bridge so I could kind of go across down further, so I wasn't at the turn where you couldn't see. And so so I had that thing. But anyways, it was so ridiculous that I ended up, I was calling the news, the newspaper, and everything. Like, I was just like, this is some fucking bullshit, man. I don't even remember what was up my ass, but I was like, this is a bullshit. And so I got in the newspaper, and I don't remember if it was on the news or what. Probably, I don't remember. But it was in the newspaper. And then so then the county contacted me. And so then they came and they said that they were going to buy my house. And they came to look at the house. And they liked the house. That's what got us such a good house, was because it was so fixed. And we'd done so much work on this place. So they said they had to give us the same thing. This is what I'm talking about. Like, these other people are getting fucked, man. So, so we paid like $60,000 for this house. We didn't even finish paying it off, and we couldn't sell it because there was something with the stream and the, something with the, and this is, this stream, this waterway, I think is the waterway that led into Pasadena Park where I got the E. coli, and there was cows across the street from me in that thing that was on the same waterway. So, but there was some problem with our sewage thing or something, because there's so many things that are not done up to code. Like, they change these codes. But one thing that is really some bullshit with their codes is it has no craftsmanship. Like, there's no craftsmanship. Things are just thrown together. It's such a difference when you see old houses and stuff. So anyways, they came in, and then they said they had to give us the same thing back. So it had to be 4 bedrooms. It had to be, I don't remember all the different things. So they started looking for a house, and then they found this one, and it was on 5 acres, and I think it was like $130,000, which is so crazy when you think about like how much houses have become. Like 130, like that seemed like a lot at the time. So 130,000, 5 acres, 4-bedroom house. It was a big house, and it was a ranch style house. And then it was up on the hill where all these fancy houses were. So of course, to me, it was like, oh my God, I always look like the poor person on the road. But there was other ones with the trailers and stuff up there, but I was a lot more snooty like that. And so, And it was up by the Catholic, this weird Catholic church. It's got like, there's a lot of weird stories about that too. I've talked about that before, and the hauntings and stuff. And there's weird shit with that place. And like I think there's a lot of really creepy ritual stuff with some Catholic shit. So I don't know. Some of these places have done some weird shit, I think. So, anyways, so they had to replace what we lost and give it back to us. Now, I don't know how all these things, like how they're coming in and saying, well, they're going to give these people, one guy got like a camper. And then if you can't do, like, they were going to take his kid. That's the only reason he wanted to keep his land. And they said that they were going to take his kids in. So, and they're trying to give him like $20,000 or something. Well, to me, dealing with the county, they had to give you something, and we got better. They had to give you the same thing, and it had to do with the market at the time. And, there's so many places that are empty and stuff. Well, there's so many places being destroyed now. But it's just, there's such a flip. And all these fucking empty places, are all these corporate-owned investors and LLCs and bullshit. Because they're the ones who fuck the market. And that's just so crazy when I think about that. Because even in the house that... So then we lived up there, and I was miserable, and it was like a really hard time in my life. And so I just wanted to be away from there. I just wanted out. And then I said I was going to go to nursing school and stuff. So I started nursing school. And then, I had told him for years I was going to leave. It wasn't like some shocking thing. And so I said, and then but when I did leave, I did just move out. Like, he didn't see that coming. I told him I was gonna. But, man, I did have it set up, man, that when I moved, I had already gone shopping to all these places. I had all this stuff to be picked up on a certain date. I had apartments set up because I wasn't going to go in and take all the furniture or something. I just took my clothes and stuff. I bought all new furniture, got an apartment, and I had all this stuff ready. And I had all these people from nursing school set up to come in, go get all my stuff and bring it, like it was like very coordinated. And then, yeah, he did not see that part coming. And he got very upset, very depressed and suicidal, and people who drink a lot just start drinking a lot. So anyways, that was the whole thing. I could have always handled it better. Anytime you look back at things, you always can see you could have handled things better. But so then the next house, though, because then he decided, or whatever, on the thing of like getting back together. So he said that he would, because over by my daughter's soccer, where she would go play soccer, I loved this neighborhood, and I would drive through it, and I would be like, oh my God, I love these houses. It's so cute. I want to live over here. And how much hold on, I need to drink something. It's hurting my throat as usual. Man, that hurts. So I wanted this other house, and I wanted the kids to get to live in a neighborhood, because that was one thing that drove me crazy too. It wasn't just the shoes and the sandals and the snow or whatever. It was also we were way out, and the kids didn't really have friends out there. God. I think I dumped my tissues, or my gosh dang. Okay, so I would have empathy for the kids, because when I was a kid, we had tons of kids to play with, and we would go out and play all day long, and it was so fun. And so then here my kids are out, like, expecting to go out and figure out something fun to do in the field. And I don't know, there was like a lot of things. And so when I would see that house, and my older two girls, that was their thing. That was how they grew up, like, out there. So then the younger ones, I was like, I want them to get to grow up in a neighborhood. And then, so I was really into this neighborhood. And so then that was the thing. He said he would buy me this house if I would get back together. And so it was in a newer development. I don't know if I can't remember. It was a newer house. It was really cool, 3-story thing. And but it was 135,000, and is so crazy. I bet you it is so expensive now. And then on this one, even when I came over and got it because it was way out from town, and it is when you first go out rural, you'll see there's a lot of people who I don't know, like more reject the society or something. I don't know. There's a lot more drugs and stuff too. So, so when I came and got this one, it was 155. And now these ones around here is like 350 and stuff. Like how fast it went up. It's crazy. So anyways, all I can see is they're just fucking these people in the ridiculousness, because I've had the experience so much in the real estate market, so much of the fucking bullshit where you buy it just at the right time and then you see what they do with the thing. On the second one, the one that was 135, because we ended up splitting up again, and I fucked myself. That was in the housing market crash, and that's the one I lost when I got my brain injury. But the housing market crash was when everybody took out, they made like, oh, everybody's got all this, what do they call it? Equity. Everybody's got equity. The houses are all of a sudden worth $300,000, and everybody's got like $100,000 in equity, so you can get a loan and fix up your house, fix up your kitchen, and everybody started doing that. Everybody started getting equity loans and doing all this work, fixing their houses up, getting new cars, fixing their lives, and it's like, okay, we'll just keep paying the payment, and but then that's what it fucked and it crashed the whole economy and that whole housing crisis. I don't remember how they did it. I think it shows in a movie called like The Big Sleep or something. There's a movie that, or it's probably a documentary too, but it shows how they did that crisis thing, because it was all manipulated too. But anyway, so I've seen the manipulation of the market and stuff throughout my own endeavors of owning a home. So I know it's some fucking bullshit. And and what they're doing over here to these people taking their land is some fucking bullshit, and then not giving them anything, you know. Yeah, and what was it? I was really seeing a lot of things last night too with the land, and how and them taking it and stuff. I can't remember what it was though I was seeing. But I was like, fuck, man, that is some bullshit, man. This is some bullshit. So, anyways, whatever, this stealing land is oh, it was something with the farmers. Yeah. Like, okay, so when the people started like settling here or whatever, so people started going out and crossing. So there was a lot of people who, it was like the first people came over like by the Appalachian, all around over here, and around the coastline, and they're coming in and they're finding areas to farm. And they're all there's like Dutch people. I think a lot of Irish and Italian people ended up more in the cities, which there's a whole thing too with the Irish people now saying that there was never this famine that they're talking about. It was always a starvation. It was always a thing that the crown was doing. The church, the crown, was the same fucking thing. We're doing to starve the people. So all these different truths just keep coming out. So let me think, where was I? So all these people were coming over there and settling in that area. And then there was like up in Boston. And so up in that area, it became more of people coming across and staying up in there. But there was people who were going out. And there was the draw, the lure, the gold and the land and stuff. So there was people who started going and making it into the Midwest and started working the land. But it seems that there's something because this homesteading thing. So it seems that there was a lot of them that went out and started working the land. And so then once you work it and it is your then it's like your claim. So once you've worked that land, it's your claim. So that's like this homesteading rights thing. And so all these guys coming out and crossing over because there was tons of farmers. It's like maybe it's the city folk that stayed more like Boston and New York and stuff, but there was tons of people who were peasants or farmers or whatever that were trying to leave all of the control behind, but the control followed them. So then they crossing over and they go and start working this land. And then, because this is what was really getting me. I was thinking about this. Because for one thing, I was thinking about with the Maori, the people in New Zealand, and how cool it is that I still got to talk about this kid thing. How cool it is to see this tribe still be so proud, man. Like, fuck, they were out in the streets in like loincloths and shit with spears, and they're fucking, and that's the kind of stuff like they would make fun of the tribes and stuff in movies and shame them. There's so much shame to the tribes in America, and I was just looking at the difference, and it's not that all of them feel shame. There's powwows and stuff. There's some where they are happy with their heritage and their culture and they are bringing it back and stuff. But it's been so beat down in America. They've been so stripped of it. Even the other day, or there's a thing going, I'm not sure which day it was, but an Indian chief with a headdress tried to get into a federal building and they wouldn't let him. That's discrimination, dude. And you should be able to, like, motherfucking wear your goddamn headdress if you fucking want to. That's some fucking bullshit. That is total discrimination on the tribes. And so this tribe is that that was a war, and not just a war call, it was a power call. It was a call to arms, a call to power, like, and so it gets me so emotional. And I had seen, because there's a whole bunch of the different Maori people talking and saying, I saw this one guy saying that they are not a warring tribe. What did he call them? But they are more like a warring tribe. They're more of an aggressive tribe, and they're not going to lose their culture. And they are taking a stand to bring all the tribes back into their culture, bring everybody back. Like they're not taking the colonist bullshit. And so this is it. This is the lines drawn. And it's like, get behind us. This is it. And so it's very exciting. There's so much excitement, and there's so much people going on the side of the tribes, and so many people realizing the real repression and stuff that has gone on, and the oppression and stuff. And I was just seeing, it's just weird how the movies will come in and stuff, and the stuff with different tribes and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that I was seeing about the beatdown. But anyway, back on the farmer thing. So you have all these farmers coming in, and because I was thinking about like America and the culture, and like, fuck, there is no fucking culture here. Like just a white person. I'm just a white person. And it was making me think about all these different people, like the Italians. They always feel like they're Italian. They don't feel like, oh, anybody who's by Italian heritage, they're going to say I'm Italian. Anybody who's Jewish, they're always in. Anybody who is Greek, they're always going to say, oh no, I'm Greek. Anybody who, like, there's a certain people who they still have this heritage, and we don't all have that. Some of us are just like Americans, like, and it's our immigrant families that came here were stripped of their culture and ashamed and stuff, and it was a, I don't know, a cultural control to create an America that is, I don't know, to me it was stripping all of the people of their languages and stuff. It's so much about the control and the lure and stuff. So but anyway, so you get all these farmers going across, And because I was thinking, well, why is it not that we all like, I know my dad wanted to leave. He wanted to leave the farm and go to the city. And he left and he left Kansas and went to Texas. And his brothers were farmers. My grandpas were both farmers. And I was thinking about my one grandpa, because one of my grandpas, the one who's with me all the time, he died when I was young. He's the one who I feel was also, um, when I was in a tribe, we were in a tribe together. That he was like my elder, my father, or the chief or something of my tribe. But but my other grandpa, I don't know, but he has more of the Scottish. He's from Scotland, and so I feel like there's more roots from his side of the family. My other one, he was it seemed that he was on the run. Like, I don't know all their history because there was like, I was told we were Russian. I was told we were German. I was told all these different things, and then it was no, they were from the Crane. And then I know that there was a lot of the side of the jinn back then, and a lot of the starvation techniques and stuff. And when the medium was talking to him, he had shown this thing about the starvation, and she was saying something about it being during the depression, but I knew the timing wasn't right. I knew there had to be something else. But what I have learned more about, that there was some kind of starvation thing going over there then. So I don't know if they were trying to starve out tribes or whatever. I don't know what the heritage is on that side. I know that his name was the name was Harshinko, and that was another thing that the people would do, was change their names into more of an American name or whatever. So that's how we became Hart. And but on the backs of pictures and stuff, what we've found and stuff. Well, my brother and my sister have done more on the ancestry. But anyways, yeah, it was our real name would be Harshinko. And so anyway, so you have both my grandpas. One, I'm not sure of what the history thing is. And my grandma is saying that it was really embarrassing to be married to an immigrant, and he had to hide his accent and all of that stuff. Because it was like just like how they made the actresses and stuff, try and talk different. Like, everybody's supposed to hide their accents. Like, everybody's supposed to be ashamed of who they were. It wasn't just the tribes. It was like fucking everyone, man. And so because the Irish have been slaves, the Chinese have been slaves. Like, it's always been oppression and repression, I guess. Oppression to repression, depression. It's all been the fucking same. So, but what I was thinking was, like, it's strange because I know that the one grandpa, he made a ton of money off of land. And so he sold a bunch of land. Like, there was a lot of farmers who did this, and it was a certain period of time, and they sold off all the fucking land. It was a fucking huge mistake. But that was the corporations. There was a period of time where the corporations were buying everything up, and people thought that was luck. Man, they were so lucky. Their business got bought up by a corporation. Their land got bought up, all that stuff. And now you see where it got us. So, but it was greed that got people selling their shit. And so the so I know, like, my mom had talked about, like, I know my mom got big inheritance. I don't know how big, but I think it's pretty big. And then there was other people too in the family, like a cousin or something. There was a lot of valuable land, and a lot of land being sold and stuff, and a lot of like, I don't even know all of the different things. But I was like, that's so weird. So, and another thing too is that you would think that that would be like, if you went, I think if you go to some places and your family is farmers, then the family, is farmers for generations. I think there's some around in some other cities and states. But I was like, that's so weird, because then, like, I know one of my cousins stayed a farmer, but my uncles, once they died, I think there was only one cousin who stayed a farmer. out of all of the men, out of all of our family. And usually it would always be the land would stay in the family, and it would be the family's land. But see, all those kind of legacy, like, were sold out. And I was just like, man, that is weird. And how is it that the farmers could have the land and be able to sell it? It had to have something to do with the homesteading thing, because these guys weren't just coming in and buying it all. It was they were coming in and working it. There had to be some stuff. It's very interesting. So anyways, I was thinking that is weird, because it really should go back to, like, that should be our legacy. Like, your family has all this land, and, that should go through the families. It shouldn't end up going the way it's going. That's what ends up kind of being where we all become poor. It's like way back, it was like the land, and that's why people had like little cemeteries on their land and stuff. It was like, this is their area, and we don't have that anymore. And they're getting our areas smaller and smaller and smaller, to where they can measure our area in feet. They measure our fucking area in feet. And in some places, they want to give you less space and less space. I mean, they want to get us down to only having a few rooms, like not take up any space. I don't know. It's just such bullshit. I don't know. I just was really thinking about that and thinking like, oh, that is some fucking bullshit, man. But, it's always been about greed and what I can get and stuff too. Because it's not, but they do force them out too. They do force them out. Like, some of these people have had this land over here in the Appalachian when they're generational, and they're just kicking them out. But the thing over there, though, in a lot of these different places, it's going to be underwater. And so there does need to be a hightail it on out of there and see the fucking bullshit. I mean, I know that is going to be a big part of the going back. Like, all these things that are being taken from people, that's where the gold will go back. And I think that there's going to be like lawsuits and stuff, like, I mean, they'll probably, once they start doing stuff with technology and saying, oh yeah, they've got these wind machines and your house is taken out with wind and water, then we owe you a house. So I don't know how it's going to go, but I know it's going to go in our favor. I know things are going to go better, but for right now, it's intense. And I was thinking, is all the people around, for one thing, their energy is all reaching out. So when you are feeling intense and you're feeling like, because so much of it is like, fuck, why do I feel like this? Like, there's no reason for this. And I mean, like, I've got nothing going on. Like, I'm glad I didn't have the wind like that, though. Like, I would have fucking, oh my God, the trees were going. I'm just horrified of that. I don't want, oh my God, wind is a horrible thing to me anyways. And I've been in a tornado before, and the southern storms, like, in the Midwest storms, like, fuck, man. It's total PTSD to me. But anyways, the storm, I got a new one, the people, but on this one, on the people, this guy, so this is in Georgia, and so he has, his son is in this facility, and they're saying that he has to come get him, or, he's going to be in trouble, and they'll make charges on him. And so the dad is like, I don't even know what to do anymore. I'm on here, just telling all my private stuff, trying to get anybody to listen and start tagging the news in it. I tagged all the different stations I could think of, and to get help, because he doesn't have any idea what to do. So his son, for one thing, he's homicidal ideation. So he just really wants to know what it's like to do somebody in. He's stalking the family down the street from him. He's got diaries and stuff, I guess, that they have found, where he says the things he wants to do. The dad won't even say. He said it's so disturbing. He doesn't even want to say that they found that the son has been poisoning the family. And so when the son got locked up, all of a sudden all the families start getting better, which also the woman in Australia who is a fucking influencer or whatever, mommy like, who had a sick kid. Now it's come out, they've taken her kids, that she's been poisoning her child. Like, what people will do for fucking views is like, oh my God. Our society is a fucking fucked up, man. I mean, her kid is sick. Like, her kid spends most fucking time in a coma and having seizures. And for fucking views, man. So, and she has got, oh, well, I guess money too. Yeah, what people will do for money is on her last bout of it, I guess she got $65,000 in donations. So, and there's another lady who was doing some fake, false donation thing for fake illness. There's a lot of these people who do fake cancers and then try and get donations, and they're getting caught. And they're, and then the third party for the money exchange. So it's, I don't know, it's a crime. These people are getting in trouble. And so I think this woman, the dad now, he's come out on Facebook or something, I don't know, Snapchat or something, and did a whole thing and said, hey, I wasn't involved, because they came in and took all their kids. They have 4 kids. Came and took them all. And they're making charges. And the guy's like, I had no idea she was doing this. And so he's trying to throw his hands out, which, you know, you could both. If somebody's got Munchausen, then usually it's very, you can't pull somebody else in with you. So it's their mental thing. And that's what, so far, is what they're saying. She's got the Munchausen by proxy. So she's making her kids sick for her own attention and stuff. So it's horrible, which is a thing anyways. But the, definitely social media just adds fuel to the fire of these sicknesses. But so this guy, his son is he said he was putting Axe body spray or something in their food or something, poisoning him, and they were all so sick. The dad said he couldn't eat anything. He was sick all fucking time until the son was locked up, and then that's when they started figuring out. But I guess they found diaries and stuff, and the son is always wanting to know what it's like to do somebody in. He wants to do all these horrible things to his little brother, which is what was reminding me of the one story. And the dad's desperate. He's like, there's no mental health care. They won't do anything. They take him for a temporary lockdown, is like a couple weeks or something. Everything is temporary. There's no long-term facilities, and they won't do anything. There's nobody helping him. It's like, it's going to be like the same case in Idaho. What, does he got to wipe out a whole family before they do anything? And that, it's sad. That's probably what. And the dad's terrified. He's terrified for the family down the street. He's terrified for his own family. The son is making all sorts of aggressions, and he has been since he was 5. I think it was like the mom was driving. He tried to get the mom to wreck or something. Like, he's been doing weird shit, or like Damien kind of shit, since he was little. So he's obviously got, I would think, probably, I probably needs detoxing the chemicals and stuff, maybe zeolite, because it could be something like they got triggered by a chemical or something. But it can also be the fucking voices. The voices are loud, and if you can hear them, and then if you have dark energy around you, like, you're gonna think that those voices are the voices of God or something. You're not going to realize that those are a negative entity. And so, I don't know, I think that there's a lot of chatter. It's exhausting. Seriously. Lately, it's just exhausting. I feel like it's just fucking talking and just talking and talking. It's like, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, sure, okay. And then it's like kind of exhausting, because just like, it just has your mind just going and going and going and going and going. It's like, oh my God, just shut the fuck up. And it's all just weird stuff. Everything is so weird right now. Oh man, I feel so weird. I feel like it is weird, because I feel like I don't even exist. I feel like I don't even exist. I feel like I'm a figment of my own imagination. And I feel like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm trapped. Like, fucking 6 years. 6 fucking years. Like, it's just mind-blowing. And then, and I know that there's other people, like there's a lot of us that have been putting out a certain energy. We're waiting for this energy to flip and take us in some kind of direction that is, not this direction, but is, and then it's like, man, it's not like I wanted the bomb cyclone to come over here, but it's like, man, what is going to be the thing that happens over here? Like, what is going to go down? Something's got to go down to wake these people up. Like, I doubt even, just there being a bunch of disasters over by Seattle. And uh, I'm just all of a sudden thinking, like, maybe it would be something with the school that, the neighbor lady wanted me to watch her kids for a few hours in the morning. And you try and always be like, yeah, sure, because somebody needs something. But then, I'll be sitting there and it's like, ugh, it's fucking cold as shit. So weird when you go out of your environment into somebody else's environment. It's like, and I'm, that is also, yeah, that is another weird thing, because it was something from the time I was little. I was being forced to babysit all the time. It was something completely that I did not want to do, and I was forced to do it. And it'd be like, you get paid a quarter. Like, I'm not even fucking shitting you. And, so, babysitting, and there was, parents just were always out partying and shit back then, too. And I was always having to babysit. And babysit for other people's kids, babysit for my parents' kids. I was always having to babysit. And it was horrible. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I didn't like it when my kids wanted me to babysit for them, but I did it, And, but also, that was also a motivation of like, of wanting to live somewhere where I'm just not at the babysitter. And then it's weird because then I didn't move in next door. They moved in next door to me. And then her to always need a babysitter. It's like, I don't. So when she asked me yesterday, if I wanted to, if I'm interested in it, no, I'm not interested in babysitting at all. I was fucking wanted to retire babysitting at 14. And so but I said, if you need me to. So she said she was going to check and see, because sometimes she finds other moms, and it's like, yeah, the other moms, you guys are all in the same kind of thing. But to me, it's like, yeah, go over to somebody else's house. And their house is so much colder. Their house is like, my house is more contained, more smaller or something. Theirs is a few hundred square feet more, but it's more open. She has it upstairs, and so it's a higher ceiling, and it's all open, and it's fucking chilly in there. God, it's cold to me. And it's not my house, so I can't just go and jack up the heat and get it all toasty in there, start a fire or something. That's what I should do. And then the kids listen to things so loud, and when you live by yourself, you don't listen to things loud. Like my TV, I can have it on 1 and hear it, and on the volume. And so I have everything down low. And then plus sounds have been really loud to me lately. I've been complaining about it, I swear to God, for a couple of years now. But everything is so loud. And so then, yeah, you over there and it's so loud. And then I can't leave the dogs for 5 hours. I got to go and take them over there. And then that's just, then I've got like 6 dogs, 2 kids, 2 cats. It's like, this is not at all how I want to spend the day. And then my dogs will start misbehaving. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And the weather's bad. It's not like you can just go sit outside. So it's like, no, I don't want to spend my time doing that. And so sometimes it's hard to be honest with that. And so that was my honest part, was the, if you need me to. Oh my God, hold on. Gosh dang, that hurts sometimes. There's always this attack inside my throat. Sometimes it's from the outside. This seems like it was both. But boundaries are important, and they're difficult like this because you want to help people, but then you got to be true to yourself too, you know? And so, and it's not just some simple thing. It seems like, you know, a super, super simple thing, you know, and no, to other people, it seems like, oh, well, you know, she's not working. She's just home by herself all day doing nothing. It's like, I'm fucking busy all day long. I am busy all fucking day long. So there's, and I don't think people think about that with other people. And so she said something about, well, I'll check and see um, with some mom or something like that. And I said, okay, it's not that your kids are, or she said something about there wouldn't be any problem or something like that. I don't remember. And it's not that your kids are a problem. It's I don't have time. I've got other stuff. My time is valuable. Like people don't realize like your time is valuable. And then going over and just sitting around at someone's house and then being cold and just like I've got other things to be doing than to just sit around at someone's house like and watch their kids watch TV. It's like I probably could watch them from a babysitter screen. Like I'm right next door. Like they could probably just come over if they have a problem or something. But they're still little. Like one's in the first or second grade. I think one's in the first grade and one's in the third grade or something. It's so crazy too how much time that is gone because when the one moved in, she was like 3 years old. I think she was like 3 and one was 1 years old. And so it's just crazy, like how time just, I don't know. Time is just going so different than it ever has before. I just cannot believe that 6 years of living in this one house by myself, not dating, none of that stuff, not going out and going dancing, not going and going out to eat. I mean, I've gone out to eat a couple times over the past few years, but compared to, I mean, fuck. There was a period of time in my life where I think every single night I went out to dinner. Every night. Didn't fucking ever. Especially when I was young. When I was a young mom and I just had the 2 girls. Fuck, we went out to dinner every night, my brother and I. And hardly ever did I cook. It's so funny too because then you think about like money thing, but man, Mexican food used to be cheap to go out. Pizza used to be cheap, like you get pizza or go Mexican food, and it was so cheap. But but it just is funny because when I do think of myself cooking, it was like SpaghettiOs or macaroni and cheese. So I think, oh my gosh, or kind of broke, but here I'm going out to eat all the time. That's the kind of stuff is like, see, that's very NPC. That's not very smart. It's like I could have done so much more. Like now how I am with the food and stuff, like I could have done so much more cooking from scratch and but then also, you know, who had the time, especially like when you're in your early 20s and you want to be doing more fun things and going out to eat is fun. But anyways, but over the last, because I was going out to eat still like before 2019, I was going out and traveling. I was going out to eat. I was going out dancing all the time. I was doing shit all the fucking time. Even once I moved over here, every weekend, I would go to my daughter's and we would go do stuff in Bellingham. Like I was doing stuff all the time before quarantine. It was all of a sudden in quarantine. And I was already going through my healing and all of that stuff. I was already trying to be more transparent, trying to be better. But there was still holes. Like, you know, I was definitely, I think, I don't know. It's not like kind of the just not say certain things or something. Because it still seems like there was, oh no, it was like, okay, that's when it was. It was when I started feeling God was hiding um, is when things all start going so crazy. In the, once I started saying that they were saying stuff against Donald. And then once I started saying that, then everybody started turning on me. And then kept saying, thinking I was crazy. I had become racist overnight, like all this weird shit. And I couldn't understand, like, what the hell are you talking about? And, but so it was more in that part where it was like, once I went off the narrative, then it was like, I couldn't, because it was weird because there was like a couple people who stopped talking to me, but it was like, it was good that they stopped talking to me because I tried to people please them so much. So it was more of when they stopped talking to me that I could focus more on what I really did believe and not on, oh, well, I don't want to make them mad. I don't want to say something wrong to them because they would, be so, I don't know, aggressive about it or whatever, like, they thought it was right. And so anyways, that's just like, some of the things where somebody stopped talking to you or stopped talking to me has been beneficial. But anyways, I was going and doing stuff all the time until all of that stuff went down. Once we were in lockdown, and it's just kind of like I didn't go back to things. I didn't go back and try and make things go back to normal. I've just kind of stayed here working on myself and waiting for things to play out. And I think things are playing out. Like, they have us right on the verge of, like, there's supposedly firing going back and forth. There's more with the pipeline. There's more battle shit that's being done. Like, they're really trying to bring us into that Hawaii moment or something. So that could very much be on the table where we get that Hawaii moment. We have 10 minutes to live situation. And that will freak some people out. And so I don't know. I mean, there's that still building up. That's still going. And Joe is very much involved. Like, he's doing weird shit. The Joe is doing weird shit. Like, giving money to the grain and tell him to, shoot, go towards, use it on Vlad. And so that is, but it's all like this big show to show all of the discrepancy, all of the corruption, all of that stuff. And it's just so weird when you just keep seeing these blue people just seem to be so oblivious to what's really happening in the world. And they're just all stuck on this fear of, what about Donald? And it's just so, like, do you not have reference? Do you remember 4 years back? Like, and during that time, like, what was he doing? He got us out of all the war. Like, what are you so scared of? And, oh, what was this one too? Because it was something with, oh yeah, the women's rights thing, the women's bodies thing. So this is the absurdity too. There's a few of these things that are so fucking absurd right now. So in one country, it is, I can't remember what country it is though. It seems like it's, like Japan or China or something like that. But it is, the, birth rate is so low that they are, going to try and force it or something. It's so Handmaid's Tale. And it's so crazy because it's like, this is what you guys are asking for, the government to be involved. So the government now is going to tell them they have to have kids by the time they're 25. And I mean, I don't know if this is still a thing. When I was growing up in China, they were only allowed to have one child, and most people preferred a boy because a boy would work and take care of them. A girl would get married and leave the elders, so they needed a boy to take care of them when they got old. And so most of them would, there was a whole thing where if somebody was born, because they got one kid, and if it was a girl, there was a whole thing where they were just wiping them out, and a lot of murder there. And then, and see how then people can go, well, they made me do it. Well, you still did it. And then, your soul's not going to look at it as like, well, see, they made me. No, your soul's going to get real honest with you. So, yeah, you're going to face yourself always with the shit you've done. And then you're going to see also how you affected the other souls. So, but now it is, so you have to have a kid. They want, I don't know if they're going to try and force marriage or just force birthing on these people till they're 25. If you haven't had any kids by the time you're 30, they're going to force hysterectomies or something on them. They're going to force them to become sterile. And it's so absurd to me is a part of the whole thing. Like, these people want the government to be involved in their thing, and then they're saying that they don't have, what is it, their little slogan, my body, their thing is my body, my say, or whatever, but that the government is your body, and that men are going around saying this, they're sending them notes saying this, your body, my say. It's not say, it's my body, your body, my right, my whatever it is. It's something like that. Like, I have a say over your body, reproduction, and stuff like that. It's like, that's exactly what you guys are asking for them to do. Instead of saying, get out of my fucking vagina, you guys are saying, please, government, step in. You guys have authority over my vagina, and please, let's you take a stand on this, because otherwise there's no one to protect my vagina. And it's so wild too. It's like, I saw this one woman crying, and this was a stitch too, because I don't know, she wasn't like bawling, but she was very emotional. But it was a stitch because it was so fucking absurd. And he said, why don't you tell your daughter to keep her legs shut? But it was a 17-year-old girl. That's the mom's crying because her, I don't know, she's got a trans son or something, queer son or something, and they're so sure that those people are at risk for some reason. And then, but her 17-year-old now has to go get an IUD or something like that. It's like, or you could just tell her to stop having sex with people, like, to respect herself. But no, don't do that. Just, damn it. Now she has to get an IUD instead of being able to get one of those procedures every 5. It's so bizarre. This is so fucking weird. And so the what was the one I was about to say? So, oh yeah, because so now in the one place they want to tell them that they're going to be forced to have kids, which is the whole thing with the Handmaid's Tale, and then they would be sterilized. And you would be sterilized at a young age if you hadn't already had kids. It's like, what the fuck does the government have to fucking... I don't know what it takes to get people to stand up. I mean, I'm in with the Maori people, however you say, the Maori people, the tribe over in New Zealand. I'm in with them. Like, stand up to these people. These people have no rights over us. The only rights are the ones we take a knee to. And it's like they wave their dick in our face and we drop to our knees. Oh, okay. Whatever you say goes. And it is going to take us all to start standing up and saying, no, we're not going to drop to our knees. We're not going to do what you say. And we're not going to play your games, because that is what this whole fucking thing just ends up being. And so anyways, I just thought how absurd. So in this one country now that they're going to be in charge of these women's things, and over here in America, we got these women crying and storming around because the government isn't standing up for them at the states. And then you have some states, and supposedly you can get them in all of the states. Like, there isn't an issue. If you need one, you can get one anywhere you want to go in America. And it is only increased since the Roe was canceled, and federally, that those things have only gone up. There's more and more people doing them all the time. And it's also, to me, so disgusting about it is that it is such an attack on the poverty, the poor people. And people don't even realize that. Like, they think like, oh, this is so good for us, our family planning, we can just run in and get one of those. But there's actually girls who want to have babies, and they're too poor or too dark for this system. And so then they are pushed and urged into doing the right thing. And it's like, these girls just, they I don't know. It's almost like a sorority girls wanting to rule the world or something. It's like the rules that you want to live by shouldn't have to be the rules that we all have to live by. And it's absurd. And so, anyways, I just think that there's so many, too, with the outrage of the shaving their heads thing. Is there's more and more of these girls with the alopecia and cancer and stuff. I keep saying that they have been trying to build themselves up and feel like they're still pretty with having no hair and how hard it is and stuff like that. And then all these girls coming in and saying, we're going to make sure that we look ugly, shave our hair off, or fuck men. Which to me, I don't get how they're coming up with this. Like, because Kamala didn't win. So you are against all men. So you want to shave your hair so you don't look good to the men that you're against. Like, everything is so strange and so absurd. Just like, they want the government to be a part of their reproduction rights when the government, yeah, they want to be a part of it. They want to be in control of it. You guys just, this is just so strange. There's just so much strangeness. And the energy is so heavy. And, what was that? There's definitely a lot of dark energy. And if you're sensitive to energy, I think you're going to be feeling the energy, and it can be draining. And I've seen people talk about, blocking your energy and stuff like that. To me, it's just having the awareness too. Is like, I don't know how you can block all these energies out. Like, how do I block my neighbor's energy, that neighbor's? It was so much slamming too yesterday. Even the one neighbor, she was like, did you hear some people partying at 1:30 in the morning? And I said, oh, those people have been partying every fucking night. So she's going to start turning them in because, yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, who in a neighborhood, and it's cold out, and that you're out partying and waking people up in the middle of the night in a neighborhood every night. Like, it's so weird. And I told her, when you drive by this one, because she used to leave and go to work all the time, I said, when you drive by, go honk as you drive by, because I think they go to sleep when we all get up. And so she said that she had to drive the bus today, so she would go by. So when she drove by and she started laying on the horn in front of their house, I was like cracking up. I was like, but they're probably conked out. They're probably drunk or something. Because how do you just sit out there in the cold? And they don't just, like, they'll have the music going, but if a song comes on, they'll turn it up. I've been standing out there, especially that one day when the drunk guy was out there. And I swear to God, they got real quiet during the time while the cops were there. But then once the cops left, and then they went and cranked it back up again. So, I don't know. They're very intentional in their partying at night. Just so strange. Why do some people just feel like the night is just a party? Just I don't know. It's weird. Get drunk and, oh, I guess maybe because they're gone or something. Maybe they're gone to work during the day. No way. They'd have to sleep. They couldn't just be up partying all night. They have to sleep. I don't know. The whole thing's weird. It makes me think like it's a rental. Like people moved into, like a lot of people went homeless and moved into Airbnbs and stuff. That's what kind of makes me feel like, is it one of those situations where these people moved in? It doesn't seem like that they are neighborly, like that they own their house and, they give a shit. Like, even though I'm not out, like, I mean, I know everybody, I talk to them, I'm friendly to everybody. And nobody, it's not like I'm turning down parties or something. It's not like anybody out here is all like, I don't know, all hanging out like that. But it's just weird because I just, like 6 years did not feel really a part of a community, not feel really a part of it. You know what I mean? And then I came into it going full, like I got on the HOA, was involved in planning with parties. I did that big New Year's Eve party, did the big Halloween haunted house thing. Like, we were doing a bunch of stuff, and then, the sickness hit, and then everything, and everybody out here took it serious. And I did not fit into that thing. And so that's where I just started staying home more. It was like, it just got too weird. Like people wanted you to have these on. It was just weird. And so, I don't know. I just know something's got to happen out here. And I was thinking it was going to be the bomb cyclone yesterday was going to be like, fuck, it's going to be wind and storms and shit. And but that day when I got up and it was snowing yesterday morning, I don't know if that was it, but I supposedly it's going to get worse for the next couple days. And the power was blinking and blinking last night. I was like, fuck, it's going to go off anytime. And so we can still have that go out. And then some of these places, I guess they had another one of these things happen in Seattle before, and they said the power was out for like a week. Last year, don't forget what happened with the ice storms all across Oregon. Like there has been so many storms going down the West Coast last year, and so it's already going this year. And there's going to be more places that are just going to keep being wiped out and stuff. Like I don't even know. I'll see more of the aftermath of Seattle, I guess, this morning. There are probably tons and tons of videos. And I don't know how far in. It's that peninsula, because it's right where I'm at, is, I think that peninsula part. So it has to go across the islands, and then it has to go across the land into here. And so even though I'm only 30 minutes from the ocean, it's that peninsula thing that's saves. But down there by Seattle and stuff, they don't have it. And then up in Vancouver, see, they don't have it either. Vancouver and Seattle are on the water, but there's this like little peninsula thing that has to cross to get over to me. So that, and maybe that is why, you know, maybe I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. Like everybody's going to have things that are going to happen to wake them up. There's going to keep being like these storms and things that seem like super, super bad, but it's all really just things to wake people up, to get them out of the bad stuff, because we're living in the bad stuff. We're living in a dystopian world until we wake up and then we start seeing. And then, you know, for some of us, we've been fucking doing this so long. I can't get over this time period thing. Like, it's wacky. It's so funny, too, because, like, when I was sitting there talking about the aliens and stuff and telling people back in 2016 and stuff, and now when I'm saying, oh, see, now it's happening, like, when I said that to my brother or something, and he's like, oh, you said that a long time ago. It's like, well, it's happening. Oh, my God. I'm sorry I said it too soon. Or too, even back then, when I was arguing with him, because this is when people were turning against me, telling me I was crazy and stuff, and I was arguing with him, and I was saying something about the aliens and about what was going to be happening and stuff, and he was like, I'm kind of making fun of me or something. And I just remember saying, sorry, I can just see this stuff. I can see it ahead before it happens. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. And, but it's weird because, you know, this stuff happened. Like my one daughter, my oldest daughter, she has said a bunch of times, like, oh my gosh, all this stuff. And my son-in-law, who was just here, all this stuff that you've been saying is happening. And that's like, yeah, look at this too. So the dogs had this little, I got him at the thrift store. I always look over by, especially this one down by us, because they have a part where things are marked down to like 50 cents or $1. And so I will look for stuffed animals for the dogs because they love the stuffed animals. And so I had gotten this one and it was really super cute. And even the cashier girl, she was like, oh, that's so cute. And then I always feel kind of guilty, like, oh, the dogs are going to really tear it up. But anyways, I thought this one was cute, and they loved it so much, and they were tearing it up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start patching it. So for the last 2 days, I have been sewing this thing. So I'm going to show you, because I think it turned out so cute. But I patched it all up. It was all these old napkins, and I just cut them up and made all these little patches and just kept sewing them and sewing them and sewing them on. These are his nose and his ears are still his real thing. But everything else is all, and the dogs were all sitting there just so right up there. They'd try and get him a few times because they love this guy. And So they would try and get him a few times, and they were so sitting there so attentively. Now that I finished and I set him down, nobody's touching him. Everybody's just leaving him sitting there. And I worked so fucking long on this, but I think it is a lot stronger. I think they'd have a lot hard. This fabric was easy to tear. This one I think is stronger. So I don't think they would be able to tear him. And then plus it's like tripled up. It's like it's ace wrapped or something. But anyways, I thought it was so cute. And it was fun to do. I was like, man, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to get another little thing and just sew all these little patch things on because it's fun. Well, it was kind of hard. Like my fingers are sore. And I was seriously doing it for hours. But it was very much like when you when you can't think of something to do, like sewing and crocheting, painting, all those kinds of things. But you get so into the thing, and it's so like time goes by so fast. Like if you're sitting there and the day's like so tedious and it's just dragging, then you start doing something like that and it's all of a sudden like, fuck, it's already been 2 hours. And so I'm sure this took me 2 days. I was thinking, was it 3 days? But I think it was 2 days. But a lot of sewing. Anyways, I thought it was cute, so I wanted to show y'all. But let me think, was there some other stuff? So, this book and shenanigans everywhere. We got the tribe, and I love the way that they were all tattooed. Their faces were all tattooed. And then their thing about them making their faces and stuff, like there's a reason why they do this. Like they do their eyes open real big. It is for something, and they stick their tongue out. That means something. And they do all this. They're so cool because they're so tribe-like. They're so not primitive, but so what is that? It's like from like guttural. Like it's like so inside you, coming out of you, and I just love that. It's like expressive, and it's like so standing up for themselves. And I love the way that that energy is coming in so hard of like standing up for themselves, and that is like a big pull to all these other ones. I think it's going to be, because they've already said this is a call to all the tribes. This is all the tribes. We're coming together. This is where we come into our power together, because they've all been dismissed by these colonists or colonial people, whatever the church and the state. And it's just so weird, when it comes down to like, being a white person and being considered one of them. And it's like, but, we're not. Like, we're not all the same. And I would much rather be from a tribe. But there's a reason also why there's some of us that are, not. There's everything, there's a reason for it. And I don't know, maybe it's going to show more with what they were trying to do with the white people and trying to whitewash society and create their little droid society or something. And the links they'll go to with science and technology to do it. Maybe it's going to be something with that. And there's going to be a lot of, people from different islands and stuff, different tribes that are going to find that they are hybrids from other places, and they're going to have contact with their people. I don't know. I just think that there's going to be a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening. And I think it's going to start happening faster and faster and faster. But there is, it's just weird because there's so much stuff going on. Because we got storms going. And there was something creepy by the Seattle when, I think it was Seattle. In one of the videos I saw, and then once the wind started going, there was another one of those weird sounds. Over in Florida, the sky turned red last night. And there keeps being these weird sounds where I think that people think of as being the trumpets or whatever. And I saw somebody talking, because the religious people are still confused over the rapture. They're still trying to figure the rapture out. I got the people going in one direction. They're trying to find somebody who will stand up for their vagina rights. Then you got the other people. They're trying to figure out why they haven't been raptured yet. What the fuck's going on? And so this video was saying that when first contact happens, that's when they're going to be raptured, and that the bad guys or something is trying to use the first contact so that they can say all the people were taken away by aliens. And which is funny, because remember how my mom said, when I get taken, don't you make sure and tell everybody I wasn't taken by the aliens. It's like, okay. And so this guy's saying that they are trying to mask the rapture by saying that the aliens are going to come and take the people, but really it's going to be rapture, and that it's going to be within like a couple weeks. They're thinking that they're all going to be gone within a couple weeks. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be happening, especially before the end of the year. I think 2025 is going to be going with a new energy. I hope to motherfucking God. Oh my God. I think the energy really has been changing. Like, just for this one tribe to make such a mark like this. RFK, like, he's making big marks in our health and stuff, which I'm also curious with him, is that, like, it's weird because there's all this whole thing with, the poisons and stuff, but there's still, like, I am not the only person who's having this stuff change by taking minerals. And when I see people like that Glacier Rain, and she's been doing the spiritual channel longer than I have, and her hair's solid white. It's like, where is your guidance? Like, what is going on? And then RFK, he's here as the health thing, but his hair is very white. And so there's a whole big opening coming over the mineral thing, and how important it is, and that you don't age. And RFK, he looks good. He looks fit. Like, they've been showing these videos of him in the one, his job that he's going to be doing, and the person who has it now is that person who looks like Mitch McConnell. It's a trans person, and they're way overweight and stuff. And so, yeah, and he's all like fit and muscular like Jack LaLanne or something, but it still is the white hair. And it is just so much stuff with the white hair. Even though mine looks really white right here, it is like, it's so much darker. And I mean, I probably could just keep doing the updates and stuff, but I don't know. The updates on the other one, because here, like, you guys see it every day. You see what my hair is doing every day. So, yeah, I'm going to take notice of it. But on the updates on, besides the fact that TikTok barely lets me have any views. But anyways, you can see that the hair is changing, and it was going to just be totally dark. But there's also, I think that Gabby, what is that lady? She's on the new administration. Gabby Tulsi Gabbard Tulsi something. She has this thing like me, like, but on one side, her hair's real dark, and she has this big white thing. Like, that would be interesting to see her start drinking with copper. And it can be a bunch of different things, because there's people who have done it with selenium. I had people in my comments, they started on selenium, and all of a sudden their hair started changing. And it wasn't that they were taking it because they thought their hair would change, that they started taking it and their hair started changing, and they started thinking like they were imagining it. And then when they saw me talking about it, then they were like, oh, this is really hot. But some people, they were like, yeah, my hair changed too. But moringa is one that people start taking and their hair start changing. Selenium, copper, magnesium, and there might be another one too. But those ones have definitely had where people's hairs changed colors back to natural. And it isn't just, it is, even on this part of my hair, like a few months ago, this was so much drier. And this is the side in my swirl. So on this side of my hair, like where we have two different sides, it's like two different sides of us. So on this side is the thicker side. This side is the thicker side of my hair. And this side is the thinner side. This side also has its own mind of how it grows. And so this is always like not grown as long on this one part. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, this side will just keep growing and this side won't. So then I have to like cut this side to match this side. And so this side kind of dictates the my hair. And then but this side and so in my swirl, because I have I don't know, some kind of cowlick thing or something on this thing where it like goes down and splits. And so the swirl thing, because we all are a swirl. Everybody has a swirl. And so on the swirl thing on mine, so what was I fucking gonna say about it? Oh yeah, because this side was kept being really dry, and it kept being just dry. I don't know what else to say, but now it is done this, and this is all by the minerals, like the color, the texture. Like my hair is silky, and you know, and I'm way past, like I would have been menopause like 10 years ago, but because what it was that I got my brain injury in '09. That's when I got it, was during my hysterectomy. So it was you know, I've been in menopause, which I think menopause is fake, by the way, because just yeah, it's bullshit. But the but my hair was more drier, was losing all the color and stuff, and now it's like super silky. It's got uh even on the driest part, and the color is like a really deep, rich color. So, and that's all been, you know, just by doing minerals. And how I mean, I definitely say I have a healthy lifestyle. I don't drink alcohol. I smoke weed, but I think that's a plant. I don't look at that as a drug. Like, I think that's a farce. I don't take any chemicals. I stay away from the chemicals. I try and cook everything from scratch. I eat too much sugar and fats, that's for sure, because I eat too much sugar and butter because I eat too much cookies. That or too much, I don't know, is too much. I mean, there's not enough. Who knows? Who's counting? Who's deciding? Why does anybody else decide? Why do we even say stuff like that? Too much. Like, why? How do we even do that? Like, you know, where do we come up with it's too much? Why? Why is it too much? Look, if that's what I want to eat, that's what I'm going to eat. If I want to eat fucking cookies all the time, like, it's hard to figure out what to eat nowadays. Like, it's so much goddamn poison in our food. But anyways, so you know, yesterday I made French fries. Like, cut up potatoes, made French fries, and then I do this this is another word I can't do very good. Boursin cheese. So I hadn't had that, and I kept seeing recipes for it, and so I saw it the other day. I was like, I'm gonna get some of this Boursin cheese and make a recipe with it. And so I had no idea. I made I think I made a pasta thing or something the first time, and then I was like, oh, that's pretty good cheese. It's like a cream cheese, but I don't know, it tastes good. And so yesterday I made French fries and then used it for dip. That was good. Like, see what I mean? Like, I eat a lot of sugar and fats, but I think I don't know. There's a lot of things that I think with I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's a click that has to change, a way that people look at things differently. And because I think that you can eat that stuff and not get really overweight. Like, I'm not overweight. And there's so many people who won't eat that stuff because then they're like, oh, I'm going to get too fat. I'm going to get too fat. Well, if you're going to tell yourself that, then you probably will. Or maybe, you know, you don't monitor it. Maybe you need to get better control, you know, or something. Like, I'm not going to eat, well, I don't know, sometimes I might eat 6 or 8 cookies in a day. But, and it's so funny too, because back when I was a mom, back when my kids were little, and I'd bake cookies all the time. And, but this is when I was in Washington. When I was younger and I was in California, we went out to eat a lot. When I was in Washington and I was younger, or when I was a mom and all the kids were little, I baked cookies a lot. And I would eat a lot of cookies. I would eat a lot of chocolate chip cookies. If I baked them, it was like hard to not eat 6 or 7 of them. And then, but I felt like it was harder to lose weight back then. But also, it was like a totally different eating thing, because it was way more about that later dinner time when everybody got home and then everybody ate dinner. And I think that's the killer on a lot of people's thing, is the eating later and then making that your main meal. I think if people switch their main meal to the middle of the day more, and if they didn't eat so late at night, people would see a huge change um, in their weight just from little things like that. But I also think that there's things that you can eat that you tell yourself you can't eat them because you're going to get fat. So then you get fat because you're telling yourself you're going to get fat. So, because I think our mind has a lot more control over things like that than we understand. So, if it's something that you enjoy, and like I like cookies. I like eating cookies and graham crackers and cinnamon toast. Ever since I was a little kid, that's what I like to eat. I've always liked sweets, and and then there's so much negativity about it, and it can make you feel guilty and make you feel like you're doing something wrong, make you feel like you're not being healthy. But then when you think about, like, well, we're not really flesh and blood, we're really a hologram. What does it really need to eat? So isn't it all an illusion? So shouldn't I just enjoy my time and enjoy what I want to eat? And then when you notice that something is getting out of balance, that's when you need to put it in balance. Because I think there's nothing even wrong with, if somebody wants to enjoy a beer, enjoy a margarita or something. And I think it's when things get out of balance, when people start overconsumption. When you're over consuming too, you just gotta ask yourself, like, why, what am I hiding from? I wish there was so many people I was married to that was alcoholics. I wish at some point that they would ask themselves, why. I would ask myself a lot, like, why can't they stop? What is the problem? Why can they not get control of themselves? And that is, a mind boggler for sure. Is like, because it's a submission. It's like and I know that, one person, number two, he did get control of his drinking. But he went completely teetotaler, like anti-alcohol and stuff like that, which then you start judging other people and stuff. Other people didn't even have a problem. You were the one with the problem, but you're judging them because now they're having a drink and you're not. So there's this, it's not a healed, people don't, there's more to your healing on all the things. If you've got weight problems, drinking problems, drug problems, all that, there's a reason. There's things that you can work on to make it so you don't have that issue, or you can use those issues to find your way to your problems, kind of. So you can heal the things, and then those things will heal. But there is a lot of people who stop drinking, but then there's, like, I think it's called a dry drunk or something, because it's not really a healed person. It's not like they're kind of still angry about it or something. But all I know is that there's some people who stop drinking, but then they judge everybody. I've known a lot of people who have stopped drinking, and then they judge other people for drinking. And it's like, well, that person doesn't have a problem. But they start seeing everybody as having a problem. Everybody's got a problem. If you take one drink, you got a problem. It's like, well, I think that there's people who can go out and enjoy having a beer and having a drink and be fine. They don't have to go and drink 5 or 6 more. They don't have to get shit-faced. They don't have to hide from their problems. Everybody's got to notice their own things that they do, the things that they do to hide from their stuff. So, and I think the universe is giving us every opportunity right now. Oh man, I've been talking a while. So, in this today, I am gonna try and go out. I'm gonna try and run down to the weed store, and then maybe take the dogs for a walk at the park, and then come back. And then I think I don't have to go anywhere. Oh, I did go get my turkey yesterday. I was so excited. 2 times. Like, I've walked up right when the whole thing everybody just cleared out. And I walk straight up and go straight in. I don't have to wait in line or anything. And both weeks, like, the lady who's doing the thing is like, oh my God, your timing. I was like, last week I told her I was manifesting it. This week I was too, but I was like, I want to go when there's no people. And it was like perfect timing. So yesterday I went and I got my turkey, which I checked the grill. I'm just going to try. I don't know if it's going to, may take all day to cook, whatever, but I'll get it fucking cooked. They're going to have that big ass turkey. And then I think it's 12 pounds. 12 pounds for the dogs. And see, some people think that's like criminal. It's like the dogs are my family and I've got to feed them. Like, and I'm not feeding them poison or cardboard. And so, but when I had said, I said, well, it seems like everything else is kind of gone, but you know, it's good. I got enough or whatever. And then the one lady who mans the thing, she said, oh no, it's just the turkeys this week. Next week, come on Tuesday. That's when we're giving all the stuffing, the cranberry, all that stuff. So I am going to go up there for Tuesday and get that. Cause I was thinking, I'm going to go get some stuffing stuff. I'm going to make some stuffing. I'll make some mashed potatoes and gravy. So I'm gonna make you know, me and the dogs will hang out here and have some food like that. But anyways, I'm gonna go up next Tuesday and get that. But I think I'm gonna just kind of stay home over, and everything is so crazy too. Like, I don't know. We'll just see how everything keeps going. Like, any storm can come in and take, like, fucking that wind. I just hope that the wind stays back. Like, if there's going to be a windstorm, because the windstorm had happened right before I moved in. So I don't know how often windstorms come, but they had just had one. And it was like in December, and then I moved in March, and there was still trees down on houses and stuff. There's still, I'm sure, there's still neighborhoods I could drive through and still see, like, there was things turned up over on their sides, like RVs and stuff. So I'm sure there's still probably some aftermath that still is like, but it's still like that if you go to New Orleans. There's still fucking aftermath from Katrina. Like, shit does not get fixed. They don't give a fuck about our infrastructure. They don't give a fuck about how we live. They don't give a fuck about anything about us. We're the ones who got to start giving a fuck about ourselves. We're the ones who got to start standing up for ourselves and standing up for our neighbors and standing up for our friends and seeing what's wrong and right and stop believing what these motherfuckers tell us, because they are misleading people in such a big way. So just mostly remember what you're doing here is learning how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. And I'm going to be working on that today. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.